I want it to look exactly like mine. So notice that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different columns. So I just did this on a blank piece of paper, and this is my first paper in my notebook. You can do it in your physical like spiral notebook if you want to put it in there, that's fine, but you just need it somewhere so that you can reference it, so that you're always going to have it so you know what goes in what order. So you're going to have 2 things in your binder by the end of today. So you've got page number, you've got assignment name, you've got B/N, which I will explain in a moment, and then you've got the date. So take a second, I want you to copy it. It should look exactly like mine, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, I put mine. So mine is literally, if you look at my binder, the first paper I have is just a straight up piece of notebook paper, and that's my table of contents. And then everything's going to go right behind it. But that's going to be my table of contents. If you want to put, like, I know some people like it in the, like putting it in their notebook, their spiral notebook, that's okay too. It's whatever you prefer. Cool. And when you're done, just put your pencil down so now you are finished and ready to go on to the next thing. I'll give you another moment. And then if you have it, the first thing that you see that's going to go into your binder is the multi-step equation scavenger hunt that you did yesterday. So if you want to take that out and maybe pass around the hole puncher so that you can hole punch it and put it in your binders right now, that would not be a bad choice. There's a whole bunch of hole punchers in the back. So if you guys want to grab, like have one person from your table grab it, then you can pass them kind of around the room. Another minute there, and then we're gonna go. Okay, and so every single day we are going to update our table of contents based on what we do each day. So it's just going to be an easy way to keep yourself organized and an easy way for you to see like what you've done, what you haven't done. An easy way to find some notes, especially if Mr. Massa lets you use your notes on a quiz, let's say, cough, cough, hint, hint. So it's a good thing to have organized. All right. So I'm gonna go off of it, but it is listed again up here. I'm gonna make it a little bigger for you guys, but it is listed up here if you ever need it. So first page in my binder, literally, not this one because that's my seating chart. So this is my first page, right? Table of contents is page 1, or well, before my page. The first page is my multi-step equation. So if I flip it, the very next thing I see is my multi-step equation scavenger hunt. Notice I put a nice big 1 in the upper right-hand corner. I would also like you to put a nice big 1 in your upper right-hand corner. Again, you can take those, you can pass them around. So take it to the desk and just pass them around. Okay, and then my number 2. I can't put it in at this second because mine's a packet, but essentially that's going to be page 1, and then the very next thing is going to be this number 2 paper that you grabbed from the back. So you've got your table of contents, you've got your multi-step equations as page 1, and then the paper that you just grabbed is your paper 2. Okay, so it should be pretty easy to put it in order because you only got 3 things right now. So I'll give you guys a second to get organized. And then I want you to make sure you got your name, today's date, and where it says topic, you're going to put the exact topic that you wrote down in your table of contents. 1.1, points, lines, and planes notes. So take a second, get yourself all situated, pass around those hole punchers, and I'll go from there. As a important piece to know, Mr. Masso keeps a binder as well. So the exact thing that you should have in your binder, I have in my binder. And this binder stays in the classroom. It doesn't move. So it stays right up front. So if you ever don't know what should be in your table of contents, if you're ever missing a paper, if you're missing some notes, come to this binder and you'll be able to find everything you need in here. Okay, so I keep this up there for you. Okay, so today we are going to get started on some real geometry. No more algebra. We're going to hitting up geometry now. We are going to talk about points, lines, and planes. By the end of the class period, we're going to be able to accurately identify and name different points, lines, and planes. And we are also going to be able to name them using the correct symbols. So in math class, we use a lot of symbols. We don't really write words out as much. So we're going to practice with our symbols as well. How we doing? You okay? You ready to go on? What did you do to that? What did you do?
Okay, so this is set up like this and this way, and then the hole puncher didn't line up, and then I tried to put them both down, but they weren't on the same hole type thing, and it messed up.
Yeesh. You're welcome. There's a moment there. Okay, so we are going to start with our first notes here, 1.1, points, lines, and planes. There are 3 different definitions we're going to start with first on the front, and then once we get through our definitions, we'll flip to the back, and we will practice identifying those different definitions on a picture. So remember, I told you guys before, geometry is just a whole bunch of pictures, and so that's what we're going to talk about today, just the different symbols and pictures that you're going to see throughout the class. Okay. So you're going to look at me and go like, this is so easy. I know, but we still got to do it. All right, so my first idea or my first term is called a point. I'm sure you've seen a point before. A point is a location. Okay, so it's how you find something, it's where it's located. Just a place is a point. A point has no shape or size. No shape or size. which means you could make your point really big. You can make your point really small when you're drawing it. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't have any type of specific shape or size. Whenever we name a point, we always use a capital letter to name the point, and that's really important. Never a lowercase, has to be capital. So if you take a look at this picture right here, what would you name this point right here? Point A. Beautiful. Exactly. Point A, capital A. So we can write the word point A, but mathematicians are very lazy. Okay? We don't like writing words out because we're lazy people. So you can just put an A, and it's kind of universally known that if you just put a capital letter, that's a point. Okay, there's my first one, a point. Easy peasy, right? Easy stuff. Okay, part 2. A line. I think you've seen a line before, yeah? Yeah. A line is made up of multiple points. So it's just an infinite number of points put together is what gives me a line. In order to make a line, you need to have at least 2 points. Yeah, you can't make, because if you only have 1, then it's just a point. But as soon as you have 2, now you can make a line. Just like a point, a line has no thickness or width. So it doesn't matter how big or how small you draw it, there's no thickness and there's no width when it comes to a line. Now, when we name a line, we have to use any 2 points on the line. It has to be 2. And you can put them in any order that you want. So if you're looking at this picture here, remember the points have to be uppercase letters, capital letters. How could I name this line right here? Line what? Line Y, X. Beautiful. How else could I name this same line?
Line XY.
Line XY, exactly. Order does not matter. So you could call it XY or YX. Now, again, mathematicians are lazy. We don't want to write the word line out. So here's what we do. We write the 2 points that we want to call it line XY, and right above it, we literally draw a line. So we draw a line with 2 arrows to show that it's a line. So we use symbols. We also said instead of XY, Ryan told us that, yep, we can call it YX. Either one of those is fine. Both of those are the exact same line, exact same name, okay? The last way you can name it this way, which is with the 2 points, or you can use a lowercase script letter. A lowercase script letter is just like an italics or a cursive letter. So if you're looking at this line, what's the cursive letter? N. So if you are going to name it line N, unfortunately, you do have to write the word line out. And when you draw the N, you have to draw it exactly the same way. So you've got to make your cursive or italics lowercase n to the best of your ability. Okay, all of these mean the exact same thing. So if it was a quiz and I asked you to name it, any of those would get you the right answer. A lot of different choices. Now, in this picture, when it comes to lines, you can either have collinear points or non-collinear points. Collinear, think about like if you collaborate with someone, that's CO, that means you work together. So collinear points means they're together on the same line. So if I look at this picture, are points X and Y, are they on the same line? Yeah, there's one straight line that goes through them both. So these are considered collinear points. Non-collinear points would be points that are not on the same line. So for example, if I had XY over here and I had point Q over here and a line that goes like this, are those on the same line? Nope, so those would be non-collinear. So if they're on the same line, collinear, not on the same line, non-collinear. Pretty easy, right? Okay. Now, the other part about a line that's important is there are 2 arrows on the end. What do these 2 arrows mean? It keeps going, yes, and it keeps going in both directions. So the arrow means it goes on forever and ever and ever. It never ends. That's important. A line goes on forever and ever in both directions. There is another piece that looks very similar to a line. Looks like this. It starts with a point and goes only in one direction. That's called a ray. So it's similar to a line, very similar, but instead of going on forever in both directions, it only goes forever in one direction. And then the last piece is something that has a starting point and an ending point, but it doesn't go on forever. It's just one small piece. It's called a segment. So they all look like lines, but they're different types based on their arrows. So 2 arrows makes it a line. 1 arrow makes it a ray. No arrows makes it a segment. So 3 different types of lines that you're going to see. Okay, there's our second definition. Questions on that one? Not too bad, right? Okay, last definition. A plane. Now, if you look at this picture here, you can kind of already tell, what does a plane look like? Kind of looks like a box. Yeah, exactly, like the slanted box. So a plane is a flat surface made up of a whole bunch of points. So it's some kind of flat surface that's got points on the inside of it. It essentially looks like a box. So for example, this piece of paper that you're writing on, that's a plane. It's a flat surface. Your desk is a flat surface. That's a plane. What's another plane? The what? What does that mean? The windows? Oh, yeah, the roof. Those are planes too, right there, right? Flat surfaces. What's another plane? Flat surface. What else? Yeah, your papers, your binders. These are all flat surfaces. These are all considered different planes. It's just a flat surface, okay? So a flat surface, it has to have at least 3 points to be a plane. So a line needs 2 points, a plane needs 3 points. Because again, if you only had 2, then it would be a line, it wouldn't be a plane. A plane extends infinitely in all directions. And to name a plane, we need 3 non-collinear points that are inside of the same plane. Inside. So if you looked at this plane here, what are 3 points on the inside of that plane? J, L, and K. Great, Kiki. Exactly. So we could call this plane J, L, K. Okay, what's another name I could call this same thing? Yes. L, J, K. Perfect. That's another one. What's another one? KJL. Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is order doesn't matter. Order doesn't matter. As long as you've got 3 points, that's all that matters. The other way you can name it is with a uppercase script letter. So you should see an uppercase capital script letter. What letter do you see? P. So you could either call it using the points, or you can call this plane plain P. And just like we did before, since this is a cursive P, you need to make a cursive P to the best of your ability. Okay, coplanar points, just like the last word, co means together. So coplanar points are on the same flat surface. Non-coplanar points are not on the same flat surface, so they should be inside the same box. Are these 3 points inside the same box? Yes, so these are coplanar points because they're inside the same box. If I were to put like a point Q out here, is that inside that plane? No, so that would be non-coplanar because it's on the outside of it. All right, questions so far? Feeling okay? Not too bad, right? not too hard. Last part. Intersecting lines and planes. Now, what does intersect mean?
Crossing.
Yep, cross together, touching, meeting, whatever you want to call that, where they cross each other. Okay, if I have two lines, where do they touch or meet or intersect in that picture? At point P, yeah. So two lines intersect at a point. In our case, it's point P. Two planes intersect at a blank. So if I have two flat surfaces, here's my two papers, and they are intersecting, they are touching each other like this. Are they touching each other at one point, like the lines were, or are they touching each other at a lot of points? At a lot of points. And what do we call something that is a lot of points? What's your first definition? It's made up of a lot of points is what? Sorry, that's your second definition. What's made up of a lot of points? A line, yes. So if you have two kind of like squares you see that are intersecting, they should intersect at some kind of line. So it's where those two pieces come together. So in our picture here, where do, I've got this piece of paper L here, I've got this piece of paper M here, where do they meet? At what line? Okay. Line K, exactly. So line K would be my intersection point. All right, questions so far? Let's do some identifying on the back. So flip it up. Oh, we're great, we have so much time. Okay, I might do like one or two with you, and then I'm not going to talk. I want you to work with people at your table and attempt them, okay? But I'll do like one or two of them. So let's start with number one. Just get your brains rumbling here. So for number one, this whole section, right, you use this picture. For number two, you'll use this picture, and so on, okay? So let's just look at number one. It says, use the diagram to the right to name the following. So my first one says 4 collinear points. What does collinear mean? On the same line. Okay, so who wants to raise their hand and give me 4 points that are on the same line? Zarian? Is that right? Okay, what do you think, Zarian? What? M, say louder. M-O, that's only 2 points. I want 4 points that are on the same line. 4 of them. Try again. Okay, try again. H, N, K, and I. Beautiful. Now, we can just put the letters H, N, K, and I. But they have to be capital, so make sure they're capital. Are there any other 4 points that are on the same line? Elijah, what do you think? M, N, O, and P. Do you agree?
No, that's P is not a point.
Ah, there you go. P is not a point. Why not? It doesn't have a dot, so it's not a point. And you can also tell because it's a cursive letter. It's a lowercase cursive letter. To be a point, it has to be a capital letter, and it has to have the dot. Otherwise, it's not a point. Good. All right, letter B. A line that contains point M. So here's point M. A line that contains it just means a line that crosses through it. Kiki, what do you think? M-N-O. Now, hold on. When we name a line, let's flip back to the front. What do you have to do to name a line? What do you need? Draw a line above it. And how many points do you need to name a line? Only 2. So don't use 3, only 2. So try again, Kiki. What do you think? So 2 points on this line right here. Any 2 you want. M and O. Great. There's a line. MO. Now, when you write it, right above it, you better have the symbol. So you better have the arrow and the arrow to make a line. That is just one choice. What is another choice? Yes?
Line and cursive P.
Line with the lowercase cursive p. Perfect. That's another choice. What's another choice? Line with lowercase r. Ooh, not quite. Why not? Does that have point M on it? No, so don't pick that one. N and O is another one. You could put O and M. You could put N and M. You could put M and N. There's a lot of choices is what I'm trying to say, right? There's a lot of choices. So just because you don't have the exact same choice as the person next to you doesn't mean it's not right. Lots of choices. Okay. I'll just put dot, 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 etc. You feel me? There's a lot of choices. All right, letter C. A line that contains point H and K. Point H and K. What do you think? What do you think? Ryan.
Line R.
Okay, beautiful. Line R. That is one choice. And the R is kind of cursive-y. Ooh, there's a choice. What's another choice? K and what? K and N. There's another choice. What's another choice? I and N. What's another choice? And I. There's a lot of choices, right? Got a lot of choices. So again, you pick whichever one works, but the only thing that's important is you make sure that your symbols are right. They need to be. Okay, letter D. Another name for line Q. Another name for line Q. What do you think? Another name, someone who hasn't answered yet. Aiden.
JL.
Line JL. Beautiful. And what should I put above it?
A line.
A line with the arrows. Beautiful. There's more choices, right? There's a lot of choices, dot, dot, dot. Lots of choices for all of them. You don't need to put them all, just pick one. Okay, last one there. The intersection of lines P and R. Intersection. Aiden, what do you think? Point N. Beautiful. So that's where the two of them cross each other. So here's line P. Here's line R. They cross each other at this point N. You can write the word point, or you can just put up a capital N, and we know what that means, point. Okay, now you've got 3 more questions. You're going to work with people at your table. Maybe like 10-ish minutes, and then the last 7, we'll check your answers, okay? So work with people at your table, definitely talk to them. You might need to flip back to the front to look at some of those definitions, and that's okay. Give it a try. Give it a try. So work with people at your table. That means you can talk.